You're a young band with huge dreams. You want to be massive, but you don't have a lot of cash. What are you going to do? But where, how, and how much is it going to cost you? Do the band have to be, pretty much prepared when they come in here, or what? Are they?
Well, they've got. It's going to cost them less money if they've got their act together.
What happens if there's a problem? What happens if a band get in here and there's a tiff between, the guitarist wants a big long solo and the drummer wants his kick drum turned up, and people are disagreeing. What's the best thing to do? Should they stay here and work it out and pay more money?
Yeah, most definitely. Always discuss it in the studio. Keep the dollars rolling in.
Is that serious advice, or is that just...
No, they should have all that sorted out well before they come into the studio. But hey, creative people are renowned for having scraps. That's all part of the fun.
Is the studio cool? Do I get a good feeling here, or does it feel like crap, There's a simple principle connected with engineers and fields, and do we like it? And, give people value for money, let them enjoy what they're doing and not feel burnt.
Yeah.
And hopefully you're going to get them back.
Isabel, oh Isabel.
You've obviously seen a myriad of changes over the last 25 years. What, in your opinion, are the most radical changes that technology has brought into the recording marketplace?
I think the big turning point for me when I started going, I don't know what's going on here, was when the 4-track cassette came out. That, to me, was the start of the revolution.
Oh, really?
Well, because it meant that suddenly you could track a song, okay, maybe not releasable, unless you're Bruce Springsteen, you want to do Nebraska.
Clay,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that, to me, I started thinking, wow, this is good. Because the guys used to come in with hey, I've worked this out. And they could take the tapes and mix them and give them to the guys, and this is how the song's going to go. And then they'd bring it into the studio. And then after that, the next biggie, home studios.
Right.
Digital recording, proper jobs.
When you suddenly saw that recording was demystified, it was accessible to just about anyone who's got a laptop or the right software and the right gear, did that worry you at all?
Well, I always knew it wasn't the mystery, because I'm not a mega technical person. I push a button and if the lights were inside the red, fantastic. And the guy hits a snare drum and it's got a rattle, but there's a quality to it.
Yeah.
Whatever, so I always knew that wasn't the mystery. And I think because we were fed a lot of, well, it's not crap, but we were fed a lot of, the room must be blah, blah. And it does. But you could record stuff and you didn't have to have EMI or whatever, So it was never a mystery to me. And I always had the philosophy, maybe it's just because I didn't know any better.
People are renowned for having scraps. That's all part of the fun.
Now, Trevor, when you look at it now, people love and have done for the past, since the event of digital, loved recording dustbin lids and adding them onto snares, and it's just the same thing. It's just people didn't think like that back then. So that if somebody's going to do a home studio, it's going to be difficult for them. But if they're going to do it on a commercial basis, it's a whole different ball game, because it's going to be bloody difficult,
I drive my car up to the lake as if there's someone
We've got their act together.
awake. I haven't been to bed for days. I live in a twilight haze. And I set my heart to the setting sun, and I hope that no one else has done it. And the drinks are never far. Open up the bar.
Technology seems to have brought about a change in the way musicians use studios these days. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, the big one is no clock. The advantages were, you could do 40 takes of your vocal, and you could decide, number one was still the best.
Yeah.
Or to a slight disadvantage, you also could piss about because you didn't have to make a decision. You don't have to make a decision. But when the clock's ticking and you're paying X amount of dollars, you have to make a decision. Sometimes, hopefully, by some of the albums we've heard, the decisions were really good ones. Sometimes, maybe not.
How are musicians using recording studios now as opposed to the way that they used to?
There's a lot of different ways that I've seen that they've used the studio. Like they might come in and just track drums, for instance, and they might track drums and bass and take them home and then overlay stuff.
Why drums and bass?
In the bigger room, the ambience, the sound of the room.
So basically it's something that they couldn't actually get away with recording at home, so they'd come into a professional studio.
Yeah, well, it could be just a room size where the drums couldn't actually breathe because they're in a 6 foot by 8 foot, or it could be that the neighbours, they want to keep their neighbours friendly, so there's that, and there's also, guys will come in with skeletons of stuff and use that in the studio and build it, or they might just come in and do some vocal tracks. Or use the effects to mix up,
Whereas in the old days...
In the old days, you get everything.
Yeah, just come in and keep going till they finish the album. What do you, as an engineer and studio owner, what do you look for in an engineer?
Passion. Passion, in my books, above everything else, because if you've got passion, you'll make tea, you'll listen to the albums, you'll analyse them, you'll pull them apart. Your mate Trevor will say, hey, we're doing a gig, you'll go and you'll help them with the gig. You'll go, we're doing some demos, you'll go and you'll do it for nothing, and you'll do it for passion. And there's nothing more to start with.
Hey, creative people are renowned for having scraps. That's all part of the fun.
It's rock and roll. I mean, you're not going there to get your teeth extracted.